out on that. Moving on then, as we count down to the budget later next month. Well, the Finance Ministry has started consultation meetings, and today the financial sector and capital market representatives met with the officials at the North Block with their budget wish list. Let's listen into what the suggestions were made at the meeting held a while back. Listen.
I think the discussions were quite good. There was a very good reception from the Finance Minister and the Minister of State also. So all the secretaries are also there. So there were some suggestions which many of us gave. Mutual fund, maybe I was present in the Association of Gold Loan Companies. We also gave good suggestions. I'm sure they said we definitely look at it.
Ask.
No, there is nothing that top ask. We have given it to them.
What are the broad suggestions?
Yeah, broad suggestions for improving the capital market, improving the funding to the retail sector. We do the last mile funding. Association of Gold Loan Companies, we do the last mile funding. They are very happy with that. So I'm sure they will support us in that.
Yeah, so primarily it was the participants from the capital markets and NBFCs, and yeah, so there were no banks today except for Mr. Arun Kohli, who was there from the
Punjab
National Bank. So from our perspective, we've made 3-4 quick points. One, we said that now that the sector has grown to be 12.5% credit to GDP ratios, there stands NBFC credit. And so there is a case to look at the funding, because RBI is saying there is concern over dependence on banks. So that is where we raised that we need to have a direct handle for the government. So maybe a allocation of funds done to SIDBI or NABARD to do refinancing to NBFCs. And second point, we said since now the regulatory framework for NBFCs has been harmonized with that for banks, that remains incomplete if we are not given recovery tools like SURFACE. So that point, Madam did react also that we need to look at how these anomalies can be removed. The AMCs basically they are talking more about how to encourage more. So a lot of discussion on the gift city part also. How do we ensure that the whatever capital should not be going out of India? How can we retain more that in India? And there were also suggestions made on some of the arbitrage funds.
I think our main request is to keep on that path. Fiscal discipline is absolutely critical, and so is the effective inflation targeting. I think the main thing is these policies need to be stable and they need to be long-term oriented. What you cannot have is too many changes happening every year, every second year. So the suggestion from the industry was try to keep consistency in the tax policy. And yes, there might be some areas where there is some arbitrage, and which the ministry should take into account as they think about the long-term policy.
Okay, so would those be capital gains tax, STT? There's also talk about transaction tax on FNOs. Anything on that?
All of those were discussed as the area that need to be looked into. But the broader point is the stability of policy on these matters is very important.